branches, data centers, you cannot run those branches on single link. So you used to have dual links, dual hardwares. But what used to happen, we were only using one link at a time, right? And other link used to be in standby mode, and same to your device, right? So what industry came up with, like, first of all, these MPLS links and premium internet links, they are very costly. If you do the cost comparison, they're very costly as compared to broadbands and 4G LTE options, because there are certain branches. If you take any manufacturing plant, right, their branches are at very remote locations where the feasibility of MPLS links, internet lease line links, is very, it's like next to impossible. Okay. If I will give you an example of any manufacturing firm in India, so if you check out their, can you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you. So if you check out their, manufacturing plants, you will see that they are at remote locations where not even a broadband link can be provisioned, right? So at such sites, what we do, either we give internet connectivity through RF, radio frequency, or we provide them LTE connections. Okay. Now, industry was demanding a solution where the WAN architecture can be, established on such links. Because if you go with the traditional environment, there we used to have only MPLS related connectivities. And these sites, they used to run unsecure, right? So either we are creating the IPsec tunnels and link flaps were there. So likewise, things were very problematic before SD-WAN. Another thing is, like, you are paying for two links and you are only using one link, right? Let's take an example. You are paying for 50 Mbps each, and you can use only one link, that is 50 Mbps, right? So another best feature which SD-WAN has offered was, like, you can club the bandwidth, right? If you are having one link of 50 MB, another link of 50 MB, you will get 100 Mbps of throughput, right? That can be clubbed. Okay. So this is another good feature which we get. Another thing is, like, application aware routing, load balancing. Then you are also getting the firewall capability. So it's like earlier in a branch, if you need to have multiple, you know, devices for different functions, these days you just need one box, and you can club everything in just one box, and you can just roll out your services. Okay. So let me just walk you through what is the agenda for today. So first we'll discuss about the legacy WAN architecture, right? And then I'll walk you through the digital transformation, how organizations are moving through it. What is SD-WAN, Fortinet SD-WAN components, Fortinet SD-WAN use cases, right? And then we will also discuss about the SD-WAN integration with Zscaler or any other Prisma Access or Netscope. Okay. And then I'll take your questions. Okay. So I have planned this session like this. First 1 hour, I'll just give you the explanation. Then I'll take a pause and I'll give you chance to throw the questions, right? And for 15 minutes, we'll have a Q&A. And then again, we'll resume the session uninterrupted. Okay. So please hear me out for 1 hour and then keep your questions ready. And you can just even paste your questions in the chat, or when I will ask you for the doubts, you can just raise your queries. And I will expect that you will raise your hands, and accordingly, I'll ask the doubts. Okay. So now coming to the legacy WAN architecture. So like we were discussing, what we used to have in the organizations before, it was like, internet links and MPLS links, dual routers, legacy routers, and high availability we used to maintain at the sites. Okay. And we used to use only one link at a time, and another link we used to keep it you know as standby. So if primary fails, then only we will fall back to the secondary link, or if any hardware failure is there, or complete outage is there in particular link, then only we used to fall back to the backup link, right? This architecture was good, it was working fine, but as competition is growing, profit margins are going down. Okay. And this is happening for all the industry. It's not only IT industry, everywhere it is happening, right? The more competition you will see, the more profit margins will go down. And if this situation occurs, then the top management, they take decisions to do the cost optimization, right? And when such cost optimization related things happen, then a demand for new technology through which, you know, CTOs, CEOs, they can take the cost optimization decisions, right? So this is what SD-WAN is all about. So here, if you will see that initially it was very complex to manage such things because you were not getting any centralized monitoring. Okay, you were not able to see what are your applications which are flowing, because if you need to get visibility on application layer, earlier we used to put one device, either Riverbed or Ipanema. So these two devices were for, we used to put it for WAN optimization. Okay. So Ipanema was like a bandwidth segregator. I mean, it used to allocate the bandwidth to the most, critical devices, critical applications within your traffic flow. And Riverbed used to optimize your WAN links. Okay. And then we used to place our circuits, and then MPLS and internet links were there. But these days, things have changed. Now there is no need to have such a bulky stack, especially at your branch. No need. So first, cost optimization is like you don't need to put any bulky stack at your branch location. One device is just needed from hardware perspective. Another thing is like no need to pay for MPLS, dual MPLS circuits or MPLS and ILL circuits. Either you can have dual ILL circuits or you can have ILL plus broadband. So, in my past tenure, when I was working with Tatacom, so I was, selling this SD-WAN solution to my customers. And what we have done is like we have done serious cost optimization for them, right? And now they are very happy. Earlier they were not happy with the solution. Reason being that if you're if you have taken MPLS from any ISP, Tata, Airtel, Sifi in India, if I'll talk about, and at global level it's AT&T, British Telecom, right? Cost is very high. And if you have taken two MPLS lanes, you are maintaining them, you can, just understand the challenges, the team you need to put in place, and then, the monitoring solutions and all that stuff you need to put in place. And whenever any new branch is coming up, you need to do the building, individual building of that particular branch. There is no way that you can push the template. Okay. So there is no way that centrally you can onboard your branches, which we call it zero trust provisioning. This thing was not available before. So if I will give you the migration backgrounds, what used to happen, right? If some customer is coming from one service provider to another service provider, so for either service provider used to take over the branches one by one, or they used to build the sites from scratch, whatever it is, right? If tech refresh is happening or whatever it is, right? Now, these were the problems with the legacy WAN architecture. First of all, bulky devices, bulky underlays, cost was very high. Then you need a good team to manage all these things, and no centralized visibility was there. Complex IP routing was there, right? You have to be very good with the BGP routing if you are working, especially if you are a WAN engineer. No end-to-end visibility was there. Troubleshooting was very tough, right? And I have seen in my tenure that people used to get very good salaries, especially the WAN in complex, teams who used to deliver the WAN-related projects in any service provider. They used to get very good salaries. But now you will see that those teams, they are getting decommissioned, right? And they have been told to upscale on SD-WAN and SASE related things, right? Because see, guys, it's like technology will refresh every 5 years. This is the trend which we have seen, and going forward, it will increase more. I mean, it will be like rapidly. You will see the technology shifts. New things will be coming up, right? So accordingly, you need to build yourself. Okay, because right now, if you see the overall architecture, you not only having on-prem setup, you have multi-cloud presence. Few applications are designed and they are running good in Azure. Few applications they are very best in AWS, and few applications they run flawless in GCP, right? And then we have Alibaba, Oracle for databases and all. So these days, customer is having multi-cloud presence as well as your on-prem solutions, right? And employees are also not work. I mean, it's not only like employees will be working only from branches; they are also working from anywhere. So the entire architecture has been decentralized. So earlier we used to have hub and spoke architecture, right? You used to have a bulky DC, and for disaster recovery, we used to have DR. And your branches were either, I mean, if you are a very big customer, so we used to have regional data centers, and then those data centers used to communicate with the central data center. This is how it used to be. But now it's like everything is has been decentralized. Your users are not on branches, they can work from anywhere. You need to leverage access to your third party vendors, your contractors. They all are coming from internet. These days we are dependent on SaaS based products. No need to spin up the dedicated servers in your environment. You can directly use the SaaS services, right? And multi cloud presence is there. So when your architecture is becoming so complex, how you will be able to handle it with legacy technologies? Just think from that perspective, right? So whenever there is a need to do some sort of revolution, right, then always you will see that in the market many new technologies will come. So when this architectural shift was happening inside the enterprises, players were building such solutions. Okay, so I hope this legacy WAN architecture thing is clear to you. Now if I will walk you through the next thing is like, how network is empowering the digital transformation. So digital transformation is altogether a very big thing, and it comes from your application point of view. Okay, so whenever we say digital transformation, so it's like your applications are transforming and your user experience and how users are accessing those application, it is transforming. And then network plays a vital role inside this particular digital transformation. Earlier we used to use different sort of application frameworks. Our application architecture was different, but now altogether it is a different architecture. So earlier we were using monolithic services, now we are using microservices. I'll walk you through all these things in our upcoming courses on these things, right? So when there is a shift from monolithic to microservices, things have changed now. Okay, on-prem to cloud, SaaS-based products, diversified network. Anyone can join your network. People are bringing their own devices. So when such things are coming into the picture, you need a good, robust network infrastructure, which is secure, high performance, right? Following all the principles of zero trust, and it should be compliant to SASE, because then only you will be able to deliver a good infrastructure to your end customer. Okay, let's move. So how network is empowering the digital transformation? So it's like first thing is connectivity. Okay, earlier only few options were available, like people, I mean the big enterprises, they used to rely on MPLS cloud only. They were not spending money, I mean they were not exploring the cheap options like broadbands and all that stuff. I mean, they couldn't even imagine that big enterprises they will use broadband. Okay, but now it is happening. Big enterprises, even I have sold broadband links, I mean this overall solution, to very big enterprises in my tenure, right? So they were using MPLS and MPLS model, hub and spoke, right? And we have given them the full decentralized solution where primary was ILL and backup was broadband. In fact, for less critical branches, I have also given them both broadband links. Okay. Because just imagine earlier, if you are having only 10 Mbps of MPLS link, contention ratio is 1:1. So you will get 10 Mbps upstream, 10 Mbps downstream. Now, in the same price, and not only in the same price, in the less price, you're getting 1 Gbps of broadband link. And if contention is also 1:8, then also that link bandwidth is more than your current bandwidth link. Okay. So this is how we optimize. Now you can just imagine in 3000 rupees INR, you get 1 Gbps link of broadband per month. I'm talking about, right? So if I'm giving you two links of 1 Gbps, 1 Gbps, you can club that bandwidth. And your less critical branches, they can easily use it. Now coming to your remote locations where neither ILL is feasible, neither this particular broadband is feasible, then what will you do? The only option which is left out is like either the ISP will do the digging for you, right? And there will be huge capex then. If the ISP will lay down the line last mile from the POP to the customer location, then who will bear that capex, right? And ISP never lay down the last miles as per the customer requirements, right? So they plan out the area, which area they need to cover, because huge capex is involved when we lay down any last mile from the POP to the uh, to any particular area, right? So ISP, what they plan, they usually focus IT parks where we have multiple organizations, right? So that they can build this ring architecture. So ring architecture, it's like if any uh, thing is went down, it's like our government has started digging somewhere and they have cut down that particular fiber, so you will have backup connectivity from a different route. So I'll just explain you that. So your ring architecture is like this. So this is my POP, ISP POP, right? And this is my customer location. This is location A, this is location B. So now what ISP will do, ISP will provide you ring architecture connectivity. Here we will put your CE router, and here we will have PE router, provider edge and customer equipment, right? CPE we also call it, or customer edge, right? Now what happens if any construction work is going on or whatever is going on, because this is India, right? If somebody has done something here, then your packets will flow like this. You will have the reachability. Okay, so this is your ring architecture for last mile. Now, when this ring is not available, because sometimes it is getting, these ISPs, they also share it. So we call it dark fiber. Bandwidth, they sell to other providers. They also participate in it. And whenever you are buying two underlays on any customer location, we go for diversity. Now, diversity means if my primary link is going down, it should not bring down my another secondary link. Because if both links are going down, then there is no use of SD-WAN and there is no use of any other technology. So we ensure that both underlays are not on same last mile. So if customer is buying both the underlays from one ISP, let's take an example. If I want to buy a particular underlay, dual ISP connection I need to buy. So I will ensure if I'm buying it from Tata and another link I'm buying it from Airtel, so I will ensure that they both are having a different last mile. Diversity should be there. If there is no diversity, then if any link goes down, other link will also go down. And if you're buying the same link, I mean, both the links, because these enterprises are doing this, completely outsourcing everything to a one player. If they are buying it from Tata only, both the links, then Tata has to ensure that they are providing the last mile on different rings, right? And this will be coming from POP 1 and this will be coming from POP 2. And if there are no dual POPs, within the POP, you need to provide P level redundancy. You cannot terminate both the links on same P routers. So these are the things, when we are planning and designing SD-WAN, we need to consider it because SD-WAN will run on dual links. I've seen customer, they're having knowledge like I will run SD-WAN router on single link. Then there is no use, right? What you will get out of it? So the whole idea is like, first of all, if you are running voice traffic, if your business it's like call center sort of operations are going on in your business, then there is a need to have MPLS because as per the DOT guidelines, you cannot run voice traffic over internet lines. I've seen few customers, they are having this understanding that with SD-WAN routers, we will be building the IPsec tunnels with the headquarters, right? So we can use IPsec VPN and then we can send our MPLS traffic, I mean our voice traffic over it, and we will not violate the DOT guideline. So that understanding is wrong. Okay. You can use collaboration applications like Teams, Zoom over internet links. But if you are connecting that infrastructure with PSTN, then you need to ensure that you are using MPLS as your underlay. Because this question must be coming in your mind, right? I use WhatsApp for calling, no issue. We are using internet. Right now, we all are connected through Microsoft Teams. We are using internet. There is no violation of DOT, right? The moment I'll float one toll-free number and you people are able to call on that number and that call is landing on Teams and my agents are picking it up and providing you support. If this I will do, then I need to buy MPLS line. Okay. So such architectures, we call it hybrid deployment, where one link will be MPLS and another link will be internet. This is hybrid.
And the PSTN means?
I'll take your query in doubt session.
Okay.
So this is hybrid WAN architecture. Then if you go with, because right now the strategies like cloud first and internet first. If you talk to any CTO or CIO, right, or any CEO, their strategies are very straightforward these days. Cloud first and internet first. So my applications will be hosted on cloud. I will be using internet as my underlay. If you go with this architecture, then both links will be on internet. Now this could be your internet lease line or this could be your broadband or LTE and 4G, anything, broadband, LTE, 4G. Now you can just imagine how much cost we have optimized. Earlier, if any customer was paying 50 Mbps MPLS link and that to dual MPLS. Let's take an example. If he was paying 5 lakhs yearly for one link, and for two links, he was paying 10 lakhs rupees for one branch. Now he can use broadband. And for broadband, he must be paying for 1 gig link at max because these broadbands are like enterprise grade broadband. These broadbands are not like your home broadband connections. Right. So contention is very good here. Uh, Aggressively, if we take 1:8. right? Otherwise, they also give 1:4, 1:2 sometimes, right? It depends. So for 1 gig link, you will only pay somewhere around 50,000 rupees, 50K. So you just imagine 5 lakhs, 50K, and here you are getting 50 Mbps, and here you are getting 1 Gbps. Although contention will be there, 1:8. I mean, contention means it's like in MPLS, if you are taking 50 Mbps, that is 1:1. Same upload, same download at the same time. So you will get the upload speed 50 Mbps and you will get the download speed 50 Mbps. Same thing you can test out in your home broadband routers. Let's take an example. You have bought 100 Mbps. If you do your speed test, your upload and your download will be different. You don't get 100 Mbps because you have the contention ratio in place, right? So in lease lines and MPLS links, you get 1:1. Whatever bandwidth you are buying, you will get the full bandwidth. But here, when I'm buying 1 GB, I mean, if you divide that 1 GB by 8, then also it will be greater than this. And it is a win-win situation for the customer, right? Now, similarly, in India, if you are buying MPLS or internet, there you will not see much difference in the cost. Okay. If MPLS is coming out of 5 lakhs, in ILL as well, you will see 4.5 or 4, something like that. These days, 100 Mbps link, you get it around 4.5 lakhs. Okay. This is the standard cost which you see. But this is domestic. If you go international MPLS, right, if you are breaking out to international lakes, then cost will be different. International port charges are applicable. And in internet, you have multiple flavors from ISPs. Standard internet is like you will not be able to control the routing over internet, but ISPs are also providing you different flavors, like direct routing flavors, where you can control the routing over internet, that this path only my traffic will take. So if you are in India and another location in Germany, you can control that routing. Obviously, you need to pay extra for it, but it will be better solution from international MPLS in terms of cost, because MPLS is nothing but direct routing, private cloud, more secure. But these days, when we build IPsec tunnel, right, so it is also secure. And if you get direct routing feature, then you are you know reducing the hop counts. You know that which particular path your packet will take over internet to reach that destination. So it will reduce your you can say your contingency times, right? Let's take an example. Any failover has happened, right, from active to standby. So it will, build up the tunnels very fast because direct routing is there. So multiple benefits are available. So this is your overall architectural details which is needed, right? Why we are discussing all of this? Because this is all about SD-WAN. SD-WAN will be using these links, build your SD-WAN fabric. Now, SD-WAN fabric is nothing but IPsec tunnels, right? Mostly you will see hub and spoke deployment, hub and spoke architecture. You will not see full mesh. Uh, Full mesh, because it will, increase the load on the CPUs. So hub and spoke will be like that. We will be having hub sites, right? And then we will be having the spoke sites, right? So only spokes will be communicating with the hub. So this is like MPLS traditional architecture only. But if you need full mesh, like if I need B2B communication, right? So what Fortinet has given you? Fortinet has given you the very good feature, that is AD-VPN. We will discuss about it. Very good feature. Now, if you want to go with full mesh architecture, full mesh architecture will be like you have to build tunnels with every node. So this is your hub location. This is your hub location 2, right? Then you have branch 1, branch 2. So in full mesh, you will have IPsec tunnel with hub 2, hub 1, branch 1. And similarly, this branch 2 will have IPsec tunnel with hub 1, hub 2, and branch 1. So if you will count the number of tunnels, it is coming out to be 6. And if you want to do it with the formula, so it's like n into n minus 1 divided by 2. So 4 sites are there. 4 into 3 by 2, 6 IPsec tunnels will be built, right? Now just imagine if I have 5,000 sites, what will happen? How many tunnels I will create, right? So 5,000 into 4,999 divided by 2. So these are the number of tunnels you will be creating. And if you do this, now just imagine how much big capacity SD-WAN routers you would need. So when you do sizing of your routers, SD-WAN routers, you need to keep these things in mind, right? Where we can have uh, full mesh topology, where we can have hub and spoke, and how we can divide the topologies, how things will work, how we will onboard the cloud. So many things are there when we design the SD-WAN architecture. Okay. Now coming back to our discussion, so how network is empowering the digital transformation. So the very first thing is like connectivity. I have given you enough background about the connectivity that these days you will see that we will build the entire SD-WAN fabric by using broadband, internet, and 4G LTE links. MPLS will be there, right? I have seen customers, MPLS is already right secure. Okay. I have seen customers that they build IPsec tunnel over MPLS link. If you do that, you will reduce the throughput of that link. Why? Reason being that already it is like we used to call it GVPN, or some people you might have heard in the industry referring MPLS as VPN, right? Because it is like label switching only, and it is a closed network. But already there are multiple headers which gets imposed on the MPLS packets, and on top of it you are building IPsec tunnel. So obviously you will have header this overload, and if you have header overload, it will decrease your throughput of the link, right? So as per the best practices, what we do, if we put MPLS link in the topology, this is MPLS cloud and this is internet cloud. So we educate our customers that do not build IPsec tunnel because it is already connected, right? Each site can reach hub site because MPLS is having that connectivity options. So internet is any to any. Any branch can reach to any branch. But in MPLS, if you have hub and spoke architecture, so that is another thing, guys, which you need to factor in when you are designing this SD-WAN solution. If your MPLS is running in hub and spoke architecture, then full mesh you cannot make with MPLS. You need to ask your ISP to make it full mesh in MPLS. Then only each site will be reachable through this MPLS cloud. Internet is any to any. Any public IP can ping to any public IP. Okay. So you can build the full mesh technology, full mesh topology by using the internet links. But if your MPLS cloud is running in hub and spoke, then you cannot build full mesh topology. You need to first change your architecture of the MPLS cloud. Okay. Another thing is like when you're building your SD-WAN fabric, this SD-WAN router will keep on monitoring the SLAs. Now, these are your underlay SLAs: latency, jitter, packet loss, right? It will do the load balancing of the packets. There are multiple methods: connection based, packet based, right? Multiple options are available to do the load balancing. And you can also, but as per the industry best practices, what we do, we bypass voice traffic from the SD-WAN fabric and we let it go through MPLS cloud. We don't send voice traffic on our IPsec tunnels because MPLS is already secure And if you pass your voice traffic through IPsec tunnel, you will see performance related challenges, which we don't want. Okay. I have seen customer quoting this statement that we will get better performance for voice traffic over SD-WAN fabric. This is wrong. You will have poor experience. So if your customer is asking you to send voice traffic through SD-WAN fabric, educate him that please bypass it from the tunnels. You will see the poor performance, right? It is always highly advisable from each OEM. You can also check Cisco, Fortinet, anyone. They always recommend to bypass voice traffic from the IPsec tunnels. SD-WAN fabric is nothing but IPsec tunnels, which you build from your hub location or any other branch location. Okay. So this is how it works. Now, this router is coming up with many features. SLA monitoring, continuously monitoring your underlays. If any underlay is not performing well, there are packet loss, link flap, whatever it is, then it will automatically shut down that link and it will not use that link until unless that link gets stabilized. So earlier these things were not there, right? So what used to happen earlier? If you are having primary link and if you are having secondary link standby, your traffic is flowing through primary. If any flap is coming on primary, it is switching to standby, right? And the moment this link is getting restored, again it is going to primary, and then again flap is coming, and then it is switching over, right? So multiple switchovers customers used to see in their environment if we have some issues with the links, right? And in India as well as South Africa, you will see such problems because anywhere anyone can do the digging, and mostly they do the fiber cut and all that stuff, right? So links are not stable. This is doing SLA monitoring continuously, keeping track of your links, how they are performing, which one to use so that critical applications they don't get any challenge, right? And better performance can be given to the critical applications. Another thing is like application prioritization. So business critical applications, you can prioritize them. Okay. You can give more bandwidth to those applications as compared to your less critical applications. Application aware routing. Application aware routing. Let's take an example. I'm running one stock app, Zerodha, if you have heard of your trading application. Here you cannot expect delay. When your applications are delay sensitive, you can have latency, very controlled latency. Let's take an example, 1 millisecond. Packet loss up to 1%, and jitter similarly 1 millisecond. When you have such requirement of the application to work flowless, you need to ensure that these parameters are being met by your underlays. And who will keep track of that? Your SD-WAN router will keep track of that. This is what your application aware routing is. The moment these parameters I'm not able to get from MPLS link, it will fail over that application traffic automatically to your another link wherever these parameters are met. So dual links are standard deployment, but for critical branches, I have seen customer is having 5 links. In fact, I have seen 8 links in data centers, right? So accordingly, we can define our SLAs. Accordingly, we can keep track of the things. Now, another good feature is like load balancing. We can use both the links. Either per connection based load balancing you can do, or per packet based. Per packet base has its own complications, because in that case you need to run, if you are having dual ISP, dual CP configuration, in that you need to run active deployment, right? You cannot have active standby. So it has its own complications, because asymmetric routing should be allowed in your infrastructure. So we'll discuss about it. So load balancing can be delivered through SD-WAN routers. Then comes your firewalling thing. No need to have separate firewall device. Just buy security license. If you buy security license, Varun, your camera is on. So if you buy a security license, right, same device can provide you the inspection. And if you're not buying it, then you can integrate it with SSE solution like Zscaler, Netscope, Prisma Access, Kado, SASE, right? Multiple solutions are available. Cisco Umbrella, and you can get the security. I mean, private applications will break out through SD-WAN Fabric, and SaaS based and internet bound traffic will break out through Zscaler, Prisma Access, Netscope. You can have a hybrid architecture, multiple OEM solution. And if you want to have a single OEM solution, then you can buy the firewall licenses from the OEM, whosoever you are selecting, like Cisco, Fortinet, Palo Alto, VMware, right? Versa. But each OEM has its own pros and cons when it comes to security. Why Fortinet? Why Fortinet has gained so much market in recent years? And you know, I come from sales. We have sold Fortinet so much. In upcoming months and years, you will see that Fortinet requirement will shoot, because projects are under delivery and then they will go into support, and requirement will come for Fortinet SD-WAN. Only reason is Fortinet SD-WAN has gained market was like they are only vendor who are good with security as well as SD-WAN in the single box. I'm not saying that their SD-WAN is very good, right? Because in active we have certain limitations, but in active standby it is very good. But when you do the comparison from security features, so Fortinet being the security vendor, this thing is already being taken care. Okay. So same firewall is given with additional chip to handle SD-WAN operations, and it is stable. If you see the operating system, approximately 80 MB, not a bulky operating system. Another thing is the stability of the solution, highly stable. Once you placed it in the network, forget about it, it is running. Although there are certain things which we cannot achieve through Fortinet SD-WAN, which we will discuss in later discussions. But still, if I will think from a small business or medium enterprises, for them it is the best solution, because it is killing the need to buy a separate SD-WAN router and firewall. In the same box, you're getting the desired output, because cost is the main factor here, deciding the technology, whether you will go with Palo Alto, Cisco. So each firewall vendor, they also tried introducing SD-WAN in their firewalls. If you go with Palo Alto, in Palo Alto firewalls, we do have SD-WAN. In Cisco firewalls, we got SD-WAN functionality, but they didn't succeed. And there were SD-WAN players in the market, like Viptela was there, right? Nokia Novage was there, Versa was there, VMware Velu Cloud was there, then your Silver Peak SD-WAN was there. So they were coming from the WAN side, right? Pure networking companies providing you the SD-WAN capabilities. But later on, when we have this SASE framework, then each vendor started adding firewall related functionalities. Because what happened, why this SASE framework came into the picture and who developed this and whatever, what is the ideology behind it, right? So Gartner is there, who gives such analytics and you know release papers on such frameworks, right? So when Gartner was doing research on how the enterprise network is doing transformations and all that stuff, so they figured it out that there is a continuous race going on between the multiple OEMs. Now, why there was a race? See, these are edge devices. Now, in any topology, on your edge, either you will put router or you will put SD-WAN router or you will put firewall, right? Now, when SD-WAN came, customer wanted SD-WAN device because they were able to see that they can optimize the cost, better redundancy is coming, right? Better optimization is coming. So they wanted SD-WAN. Now the challenge was like SD-WAN player were only offering SD-WAN routers and customer was buying firewalls. Then firewall vendors, they thought of giving this SD-WAN functionality because they were getting replaced in the branches. So that's why this race got triggered between the vendors. Who will replace which particular device? So firewall vendors, they started bringing this SD-WAN functionality because customers were demanding, right? You are putting firewall as your edge device where you are terminating your endpoints. So we have multiple architectures for enterprises. So it's like few enterprises, they terminate their links on the ISP routers, and from there it gets extended to the WAN switches. From there it goes to the firewalls, and then they have their routers. Okay, few what they do have edge routers first, and then they put firewalls behind because perimeter firewall, internal firewall. So multiple architectures are there, right? DC has its own architecture. Branch, they used to have a different architecture. So now so much complexity and all that stuff. So when these OEMs, they saw this opportunity, that SD-WAN saw this opportunity. If I will add firewall functionalities in my software or in my box, then I can easily pitch this solution to my customer and my customer will buy it very quick because I'm solving their problem. Directly you can terminate the ISP links on the SD-WAN devices. So from the MUX, have you heard of MUX? The MUX is the device which gets placed in your environment from the ISP. So last mile, when you get the connectivity from the POP, it gets terminated to the MUX, and from there it goes to your device. Okay. So, now with SD-WAN router, you can directly terminate your lines on the device. Earlier, it was like ISPs were giving you the circuits, routers, managed and unmanaged. Okay. And then so many other things are also there. So now that dependency has also gone. I just need one unmanaged link from the ISP and I can terminate it on my SD-WAN router. Another thing is like same SD-WAN box is also providing me firewall features. If I'm getting firewall, then what is the need to buy another product and put it behind this product, right? And cause delay. There is no need. Okay. So, then this race started between the vendors who will bring more features. And luckily, if you do the overall comparison, Fortinet SD-WAN became a good player in this field because their security as well as their SD-WAN, they are stable. Box throughputs are good. No buggy behavior. Because we have seen multiple OEMs. Initially, when SD-WAN was new, many unexpected behaviors we have seen in the networks, right? So now, for your less critical branches, it is advisable to go with the SD-WAN plus firewall features because you just need one box in your branch. You directly put that box, then your downlink switch, and then you can have your LAN users. You have simplified your topology. For highly critical infrastructure, data centers, definitely security stack will be there. You will not, remove it, replace it by one box because in data centers you will have DDoS, IPS, IDS, dedicated firewall, routers. So you cannot VPN concentrators and all that stuff. You cannot remove that architecture from DC. Okay, but for branches you can do that, right? So these are the things which we consider when we are designing the solution for our customers, right? These are like design considerations to do the cost optimization, which architecture will work best with the customer, which OEM we should select, right? If you are vendor agnostic, right, your customer is comfortable with any vendor because whenever any RFP gets floated, okay, so they just mention that any vendor, we just need these functionalities out of the product. Okay, so if any vendor can fulfill these functionalities, we are happy to go with it, right? And then accordingly solutions are built, and then we submit our commercials, we bid for the project, and you get the project. Okay, and then you start rolling it out. Now the thing is, when you have bid for something, you have started rolling it out, then you will see delivery challenges. Okay, because during your pre-sales journey, you're not able to identify all the things in your initial phase. Although pre-sales engineer, they try very hard to get the granular information from the customer and build the solution accordingly, but during pre-sales, you don't get such information. So what happens when projects get into delivery, and your technical design authorities, TDAs, they prepare LLD and they start rolling out the projects, then comes your project hiccups, right? So roadblocks, we used to call it roadblocks, that this functionality cannot be done, this stitching cannot be done. Okay, similarly, once you have delivered the solution, then it goes to in life, that is your support function. So pre-sales, delivery, support, three LOBs are there, three functions are there. Okay, and pre-sales, it's like the engineer will be stitching the multiple things together, will be preparing the high level architecture of the overall solution, and then TDAs and implementation team. So earlier we used to have a design team, dedicated design team, and dedicated implementation team. We used to call them project team. But nowadays you have seen design and implementation. We have merged the two different domains. Now whosoever is designing the solution, they are only doing the implementation, right? And once the implementation is done, then it goes into in life support. So if your architecture is not good, you will face challenges in your in life. Customer will face challenges. And that's where a good architecture is needed, right? So if you're comfortable with the technology, if you understand the technology, you can build a good architecture. Now coming to the next point, why network is empowering the digital transformation. So data sharing and analysis. Now we need insights. What is happening in my network? Earlier it was not like that. Now I need insights. I need analytics so that I can take my decisions as per those insights. So this is another driving factor. Network is empowering your digital transformation, because with the SD-WAN technology, you can share these statistics with the top shots and they can take the decisions accordingly. Let's take an example. You can see that you have bought 100 Mbps MPLS link and you are not even utilizing 50 Mbps. You can reduce the bandwidth, right? And these days, ISPs are also offering bandwidth on demand. Whenever needed, you can upscale. If you don't need it, just buy only 50 Mbps. Because the competition is increasing and competition is becoming very aggressive. Okay. So when competition becomes aggressive, you will see reduced profit margins, and then you will see uh, more options are available in the market and customer is having more choices. Okay. So accordingly, then we have cloud computing. Now it's like on-prem setups are going away, vanishing away. Nobody wants to build their own data centers, right? They're happy to spin up nodes in cloud. So if I talk about any startup, they're happy to have infrastructure in cloud. Okay, because startup is startup. You don't know what is the future, right? So why they will do so much bulky investment in the data center equipments and operational cost and pay for the teams and all that stuff, when you can just simply take the you know cloud subscription and you can build your application right away, and you can launch it over internet and you can just get the feedback from the audience, and if your application is a hit, then you can expand and you get the auto scale and all that stuff. Because when you're building your on-premise setup, that is limited to the resources, right? That is limited to the resources, that you only have this much throughput, you only have this much compute available. If you are getting more audience, your devices will fail. They won't be able to give you that auto scale feature. So this is the best part which we get in the cloud computing, that you know it will help you to auto scale. Okay. Now comes your Internet of Things, IoT. So I'm not sure whether you have worked with any manufacturing company or not. So we have done a lot of transformation for manufacturing firm. In fact, I'm doing it right away as well. Many projects I'm working on, especially from manufacturing domain. Now comes IoT. So, in manufacturing, you have IT and OT network. IT is your normal information technology network where your IT team is working, and OT is your operational technology where your the PLCs, your robotic arms, whatever it is, whatever automation you have done in your production line, those things are running, right? Now if you merge your IT and OT network, if you don't have the micro segmentation, and if you don't put security, these devices can be easily hacked. And through your IT network, I mean, we have seen that through IT network, hackers were able to get inside the OT network and they were able to bring down the production. I'll not take names, but I have seen this multiple times. And this is the common attack practice, that any IT employee machine will get infected. That guy will receive the malware. And through that malware will do the lateral movement, and it will can come inside the SCADA system or the PLCs and your other sensors of OT network. And from there, they can override your things and bring down the production line. Right. This has happened multiple times in India as well. So now there is a emerging need to implement ZTNA in manufacturing firms. I'm not sure whether you are aware or not. Industrial Revolution 4.0 is going on. Okay, that is part of that. So you have to transform your current networking inside manufacturing plants. You need to have a clean segmentation between IT and OT network, right? Your IT network should not be communicating with OT, and your OT should not be communicating with IT without deep inspection, and only limited access should be provided as per your use case. Then comes your digital ecosystem. Now, digital ecosystem is like multi-cloud presence, and other things are also there, right? So, in diversified ecosystem, legacy setups cannot work. Legacy network cannot work. We need to have a good, robust network architecture which can support your diversified architecture. That's another driving factor. We need to, have a SD-WAN architecture in place now. So soon you will see we are sitting in 2024. In few coming years, you will see legacy setups will go away and people will, whatever enterprises we have, they will migrate to SD-WAN. Okay. Now, before I start SD-WAN, I'm open for doubts. So I'll pause the recording here and then you can let me know your doubts so far. NGCLOUDX is our training brand. Okay. It is our training brand. Official websites ngcloudx.com, ngcloudx.in. .com is for international audience and .in is for Indian audience. Okay. Automatically you get redirected when you hit this domain, you get redirected to this and you go to a different platform. This is a different platform. Okay. Another thing is like the legal entity name. So legal entity name is CloudX Solutions Private Limited. Now CloudX Solutions Private Limited is not only providing you the trainings, right? We are MSP, or you can say MSSP, Managed Security Service Providers. Okay. So we do help enterprises in their network transformation journey, security transformation journey. Okay. Training is just one leg. Okay. So this is the brand awareness. Another thing is like official sales representative from our end is Kajal Rana, right? You can coordinate with her, whatever you want to buy, whatever courses you need. She will help you with it. I will be taking care of your technical queries. Do not come for any non-technical query with me, to me, right? Go to Kajal. She will take care of that. Right? So this is what I would like to communicate. Another thing is like if you want to connect with us, right, you can use our email addresses. If you want to connect with Kajal, Kajal at ngcloudx.com. If you want to contact us for any query, contact at ngcloudx.com. If you're already using our services and if you're having any problem, support at ngcloudx.com. Okay. Another thing is like, I know few people are still there in the meeting who were trying to recreate the videos, who will try to leak the videos. Strict warning, don't do such things. You will put yourself in bad shape this time. Okay. And this content is copyrighted because I'm not copying any OEM content. This is my expertise and I'm just sharing my knowledge. So this content belongs to me. Any institute, any candidate found doing any wrong with my content, then strict action will be taken. Okay. Coming back to the topic now. So I'll kickstart with the topics which you guys highlighted me to record during Q&A. So first thing is like POP.
Nitin. Okay, you started recording. Okay, no problem.
So POP is like point of presence, which we use for ISP, right? So hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, GCP, they do have their POPs, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, right? So POP means point of presence. Where are you in that particular region? Okay. Or in that particular geographical boundary where we can see your presence. Okay. Similarly, for Zscaler, we have POP in Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. Okay. Then comes your another term, uh, LM, last mile. So last mile is like from POP to customer location connectivity, right? So dual last mile, diversity, all these things we use. Then come your underlay. Underlay is nothing but the connectivity you get from POP to your location. MPLS, ILL, P2P, Wi-Fi, I mean wireless, RF, right? These things we call it underlay connectivity. Then comes your overlay. Overlay is like by using that underlay, you're building tunnels. You can build IPsec, you can build GRE, or it will be like IPsec over GRE, GRE over IPsec. Multiple flavors are available. Those things are overlay. So when we discuss SD-WAN, in SD-WAN, we are going to cover overlay routing, we are going to cover underlay routing, right? Then comes your SaaS, software as a service. So you don't need any server, you don't need any appliance in your premise. You can get the services from the cloud environment of that provider. So we call it software as a service. Then comes your ZTNA framework, zero trust network access. It's a framework. Here it has its own guiding principles which we follow and adapt, and we try to transform the networks of the enterprises. Then comes SASE, secure access service edge. Now here you have two components, SD-WAN and SSC, secure service edge, right? Now SD-WAN we have already discussed, software defined wide area network. Okay. In SSC you have further components, CASB, cloud access secure broker, DLP, data leak prevention, cloud firewall, secure web gateway, right? So these are the features which you get from SSE. Multiple players are available for SSE, Zscaler, Prisma Access, Netscope, right? Uh, then you have Kado Networks. So these are the well-known players in SSE. For SD-WAN, again, and we do have Umbrella, Cisco Umbrella. Then for SD-WAN, we have again good OEM presence. OEM is original equipment manufacturer, if you don't know the uh, term. So in SD-WAN, you have Cisco, Fortinet, you have VeloCloud, you have Polo, right? Silver Peak, Versa, Meraki. These are the players, well-known players in SD-WAN market. Okay. And this market is growing. SD-WAN market is growing, SSC market is growing. And if you see SASE market altogether from Gartner perspective, it is growing. This market is growing, it means jobs will be created in this domain. And if jobs are going to be created, it means whenever there is demand and less supply, you get what you deserve. When we say hyper growth, why I'm saying hyper growth? It's not like that I was drinking alcohol and I just created the bundle and I came in the market hypergrowth. So there is a flow which is going on for the past 3 4 years. I started teaching aftermarket in 2021 itself, right? Earlier I was corporate trainer. So then I started normal growth package for the candidates who were normal L1, L2s, right? I made them cross their salary bars of 6 lakhs, 5 lakhs, whatever they were earning to, get at least 12 plus, 12 or 15 plus. When they reached this level, then I helped them in getting 20 plus. And these are CTCs in India, right? Then I helped them in going to achieve 30 plus. That was part of super growth, right? And now hyper growth is like you will definitely get package more than 50 lakhs. Because if you are able to digest 30 technologies, and I'm assuming that whatever we have taught you earlier, you have already understood that, right? Firewall bundle, CCNA, CCNP training, whatever we have given you previously, you have already digested that information. And now you have also digested these 30 technologies. Then this is like piece of cake. Very easily you will get. Okay. If I can get, you can get. Reason being that I started my journey with a very low salary, right? And I was able to transform my career in just 5 years. These 5 years were very productive for me. I worked day and night in a right direction. I never waited for someone to, tell me to study and all that stuff. I was self-disciplined. Time management is another factor, right? Because these things people used to say me, how you take out time? You're managing your family. Earlier, you were managing your job. You were teaching, and you don't take break. How, right? So you get 24 hours. Please manage it properly. Stop wasting your time on phones, especially Instagram and other platforms, right? So when you do your calculation, you will understand how do you get time. Normal, on an average 7 hours we are spending on phone these days. It's a shift time, a complete shift you are wasting on phone. If you save this time, you will be able to study. So that's it from my side, guys. This is very crucial time. You can see the circumstances, how things are going on, right? Recession is circling back. War situation is becoming more intense. You will see more hardships going forward. Be ready for that. Prepare yourself before it's too late. Okay. That's the whole purpose of launching this hyper growth because I'm already sorted, guys. I'm getting plenty projects. I'm already sorted. So many things are there with me to do. Training I do for passion, so that you know you will remember me for your entire lifetime. Now coming to the topic, what is SD-WAN? Okay. So like I said before, SD-WAN is your software defined wide area network, which is the modern way of building and managing your WAN architectures, right? You don't have only dependency on MPLS and ILLs. If your location is very remote and if broadband is available, 4G LTE is available, you can securely build your IPsec tunnel either with your clouds or with your data centers, and you can take the features of SD-WAN, right? So this is nothing but software-defined WAN wide area network where software will be controlling your packets, your traffic movement, how to utilize the links, how to direct the traffic, how to give more importance, more priority to the business critical applications, how to keep track of your non-productive links or highly fluctuating links, right? And how to meet the SLAs of the application so that it can work flawless. Okay. I'll give you many use cases, whatever I have worked so far, right? I have worked for National Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange. We did the transformation there. So I'll share my experience how critical these environments are like, and if any stock broking firm you try to do the transformation in their networks, how much latency you can expect from that application to work, right? And with the help of SD-WAN, how you can mitigate that thing, because for organization like Zerodha and Angel Broking or any other, Upstocks or whatever it is, if huge latency is there in the application, people will start losing their money. So we cannot expect latency, right? So still, so many things are there. I'll let you know how these providers they connect to the stock exchange, what technology they use, and then how they relay that information to their app users. And app users are spread across the globe, right? So how effectively they are delivering it. Because if I'm sitting in Delhi and you are sitting in Chennai, right? And if we are doing the trading, how we are able to do it in the real time, what network technologies we have implemented in the backend. Okay, these things we will discuss. So it's like SD-WAN is going to give you more visibility. You can get better traffic steering control. You get your application visibility. You get more features as compared to the legacy WAN architecture. So that's why industry is moving towards the SD-WAN. Okay, now, again, SD-WAN benefits. So I have already covered this. Improved network performance, cost savings, scalability, simplified management, enhanced security. Okay, these are the benefits which we get out of SD-WAN technology, and you can read more about it. Now, coming to the SD-WAN architecture. So here I have just taken a normal architecture reference from Cisco, right? So here, if you will see that, we have the controller, we manage, we smart and all that stuff. So in Cisco, we have different components, but in 40 SD-WAN, it is simple. You have 40 manager to manage your appliances and 40 analyzer to receive the logs. And then you have edge devices. That's it. Okay. So remote side will be having SD-WAN router, data center will be having SD-WAN router. And then if you see here, we have different types of underlays here. If I will take help of pen, so you have MPLS, you have internet, you have 4G LT. So these three paths are available to reach data center. And these are nothing but SD-WAN tunnels. That is your IPsec tunnels, right? So three tunnels we have formed from this remote side to the data center, right? Now you can see these are the parameters, or you can say the SLAs of these paths, right? So path one is having 10 millisecond of latency, 0% packet loss, 5 millisecond of jitter. Similarly, path two, path three, right? Now we can see that path two is having degraded performance. Okay. And if I will try to send my packet, if I will try to break out my connection through part two, so might be my user experience will degrade, right? So earlier these things we used to do it manually. If you come from networking background, right? If you have ever get chance to discuss these things with the WAN team, right? Or the team responsible to manage the CE routers and PE routers, right? So they will give you this, right? That QoS, how they implement QoS to take care of this. And when it is MPLS, then costs, multiple cost types are there, right? Class of service. So to give priority to the video traffic, cost one, cost two, cost three, cost four, cost five, right? Accordingly, multiple costs are there, right? And we prioritize the traffic within the MPLS cloud. That's why people were favoring MPLS now, because you were getting this info or this feature out of it. But now these things have been you know uh, deprecated through SD-WAN technology. You don't need now all these things, because this SD-WAN device itself is keep on probing your underlays and getting these informations that how much packet loss is there, latency is there, jitter is there. And as per your configured SLAs, it is taking care of your packet routing. It is doing smart routing, right? So let's take an example here. If I will define my application aware routing policy, where I'm saying that I need latency less than 150 millisecond loss less than 2% and jitter 10 less than 10 milliseconds, right? If this is my application aware routing policy. So which path I will take? So by default, you can see your parameters here, right? So I will take path 1 as my preferred choice for this application, right? Part 2 is having 200 milliseconds of latency, which I cannot accept, right? Then path 3 is having 1% of loss and 10 millisecond of jitter. So here I'm saying less than 10 or equal to 10. So which one is better from path 1 and path 3? As per the statistics, we can see path 1 is better. So your application will take path 1. If during the time, let's take an example, in the morning, path 1 statistics were like this, but in afternoon, statistics have changed. Something has wrong with the path 1, right? In that case, if any other path is having better statistics, your traffic, your application will be moved smartly to that path without user noticing that behavior. Okay, so these are the things which we uh, capture through the SD-WAN devices, and that's why they are taking over in the enterprise network now, right? So there are multiple components, OEM to OEM. So like we are studying Fortinet SD-WAN. So in Fortinet SD-WAN, you will see the components like Forti Manager, Forti Analyzer, and Forti Gate SD-WAN appliance. So 40F, 60F, right? These are the appliances, 80F, 100F, 200F, 400F, 600F, right? Earlier, we were having this E series, right? That E series now is end of life, and new series boxes, they are coming with this F keyword. And in fact, we have now got G appliances as well. Now, this F is having dedicated FPGA ASIC SOC 4 for SD-WAN operations. Okay, now FPGA is nothing but field programmable gate arrays. So they are introduced in the chips in the motherboards to expedite your operations, complex operations processing. Okay. Now, if we talk about SD-WAN deployment, so what are the options we have to deploy these solutions, right? So we have on-premise solution, we have cloud-based, and we have hybrid. Okay. So on-premise, it's like you will be having SD-WAN on your premise, SD-WAN edge devices, as well as controllers and analyzer in the same domain. Okay. So the architecture will look like this. So if I will make some space. And guys, you can just imagine, I was having hardcore security background, and now I'm talking more on network side. How come this transition was possible, right? So only thing is like lab. So that's why I always encourage everyone to do labs. And whosoever is getting trained by me for past many years, they know that how much I encourage to do labs, because you will be able to recreate the things which you want to visualize. And once you are able to recreate the thing which you can visualize, then after few years, you don't need labs. You can recreate everything in your brain itself. You can visualize things in your brain itself. Then it becomes easy for you to learn the technologies. Okay. Now coming to the architectural discussion, so here it will be like this. You have the data center. Then you have, let's take an example, underlay connectivity is MPLS and ILL, and we are calling it out SD-WAN fabric. Now, SD-WAN fabric, it's like already IPsec tunnels have been built. Okay. And this is your branch. Now, this is the tunnel. This is the tunnel. For easy representation, I'm using this. Okay. Now, in data center, you have OT manager to manage your edge devices. You have Forti analyzer to receive the logs, right? And here you have the edge device, which will
So
be
can I
building.
see your screen, sir?
I think you are having problem. What about
It's
others?
vis-
Can you see my?
it's visible. It's visible.
Yeah.
Please
Okay.
rejoin. rejoin.
Okay. Thanks.
And then you have edge devices, right, which will be participating in routing, okay, to do your traffic forwarding. Here you will have the edge devices. Now, another thing is, guys, these days you must have heard, if you're working with MSP, British Telecom, Tatacom, Airtel, Sifi, right, HCL, Accenture, AT&T. If you're working with them, right, what will happen? They have launched new service, SD-WAN. Okay, I'll write it like this: SD-WAN as a service. Have you heard of this term before? SD-WAN as a service, right? Network as a service, monitoring as a service. Now everyone is coming inside this service business because they know that no margin left in the hardware business, right? So as a service, what it does mean, right? Now, because whenever you will hear this term, please do not get confused that yaar, ab ye kya aa gaya, SD-WAN as a service, right? So far we have seen software as a service, security as a service, firewall as a service. See, the moment this cloud business came into the market, right, all of a sudden is it exploded into so many domains. Now everything is coming as a service. Okay. Now this SD-WAN as a service is nothing but these cloud controllers will be hosted in your MSP environment, multi-tenant. Okay. So Forti Manager, Forti Analyzer, these will be hosted in your ISP. Okay. And they will be multi-tenant. I mean, they can use it for multiple customers. This is your ISP cloud. And this is your branch one or data center, whatever it is. Here, the equipment you used to get before SD-WAN, what you used to get when you used to order the ILL link or MPLS link, they used to provide you one circuit, C, right? Customer provider equipment, CP, you can call it. Instead of that, now what they are offering, they are saying, okay, take our internet lease line, and instead of normal Cisco router, we are giving you Fortinet SD-WAN router, and it will be fully managed by us, right? You need not to worry about your WAN architecture. We will take care of that, right? We will build your SD-WAN fabric. We will describe your policies. You just take care of your downstream things. That's it, right? Now these devices will be managed through this ISP cloud, and they will be sending the logs and all that stuff, right? So now this as a service, it means that, see, there are two models, guys. When you will come into sales, because ideally you should come into pre-sales, very good domain. Don't waste your time in support and this design and implementation for a longer time. So in pre-sales, you will hear two things from the customer: which model you are offering, whether it is OPEX or it is CAPEX. OPEX and CAPEX is like operational expenditure and capital expenditure. Capital expenditure means I have procured the hardware, I have bought the hardware, I have bought the licenses, I have made the upfront investment in that equipment. Now, let's take an example like somebody was highlighting Fortinet SD-WAN is not good, and I have procured the Fortinet SD-WAN for 5 years. Let's take an example. I have bought the 5-year licenses. Now, just imagine you're stuck with that. You cannot change it because you have already bought it, right? On the other hand, when comes this OPEX model, operational expenditure, here the thing is like you're paying rent, monthly subscription. If you don't like it, if you don't like Tata Fortinet, either you will ask Tata to switch it to Versa or somebody else, or you will switch the provider and you will go to Airtel. That give me something else, yaar. I don't like this. Not working for me. In at that point of time, for different provider, it will be very easy to migrate because they just need to replace the edge devices. It's done, right? Because you were not having any control or anything, only the policies, and you can migrate from one technology to another technology very easily within a year as well. You can terminate your contract. Okay, so this is another thing, SD-WAN as a service. You will hear things like that in the market. So in that case, you have your controllers in your ISP cloud itself, and these are multi-tenant. Multi-tenant means uh, so multi-tenant architecture. Again, I'll give you an explanation to it. So multi-tenant architecture is like, let's take an example. This is my software instance. Software instance, right? It can do something. Let's take an example. Any operation you can perform through my software. Now I have 10 customers. Customer A, customer B, customer C, customer D, like that. Now, if they want to use this instance, and it should be like their traffic should not interfere, right? They should get their unique instance. So you can create the copy of these instances and you can allocate it to customer A, B, C, D. In layman terms, just try to understand it with VRF. What do you do in MPLS? You create VRF to segregate the routing, right, for your customers within MPLS cloud. In the same way, at software level with the multi-tenant architecture, you can launch your software as a service for different customers. That's why we are calling it software as a service, SaaS. Okay. Okay. So cloud based, right? So your controller will be in the cloud, either on a ISP cloud if you have taken the SD-WAN as a service, or on your public cloud if you are using the hyperscaler, this AWS, Azure, or GCP. You can deploy your controllers in the cloud environment, and through that you can manage it. Then comes your hybrid one. So in hybrid, it's like it will be combination both on premise and cloud, right? So let's take an example. Manager I have deployed on prem, and analyzer I have deployed on cloud. Or I can deploy analyzer on prem and manager on cloud, because in analyzer I will be receiving the logs, right? I would need more storage and all that stuff, and I want to retain the logs and all that, right? So you can go with the hybrid deployment as well. Now, coming to the SD-WAN features. So what features you get from SD-WAN? Benefits we have discussed. SD-WAN technology we have discussed. So features like traffic shaping, load balancing, application aware routing, centralized management, and security, right? So when I say traffic shaping, so here, you know, if you have used already QoS policies in the network infrastructure, you must be aware of it, what I'm trying to say, right? So you can, shape and prioritize your network traffic based on your applications, users, location, right? Then comes your load balancing. So earlier we were using load balancers to, you know, uh, direct our request to the servers. So we used to use the load balancers to make use of our different application servers. So if I will give you an example, so what are load balancers? So it's like, let's take an example. We have our website ngcloudx.com, right? And you all are the subscribers. So in my infrastructure, if this is my perimeter firewall, right, then you will have a DMZ zone. Let's take an example. This is my DMZ zone. We have switch. Then you will have the load balancer here. Okay. So your LB will be here. Now this load balancer, so I will be having multiple physical servers. This is a monolithic architecture I'm talking about, where the application is running on server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, and this load balancer is connected to all these servers. And whenever I'm receiving any request from the internet, right, from any user, so it is coming like this, hitting the perimeter. Then we have the DNAT. It is going to the load balancer IP, virtual IP, And then load balancer is doing the load distribution to the server basis on the connections. Now you can use any strategy, round robin, IP hash, right? Multiple strategies are there to do the load balancing. And it is also doing reverse proxy, hiding your servers, right? Because you make connection with the load balancer, and then it makes connection on your behalf with the server. Similarly, if it is a cloud infrastructure, then you don't need any virtual appliance of load balancing, right? You get the service from the cloud provider, and you can instead of spinning up the VMs, you can create the instances of your applications, and your instant or auto scale. Like whenever your load will increase on the application, new servers will be added, and they will be deleted, right? So it is done with the help of Docker and Kubernetes, which we will also cover, right? Okay. So now it's like you will don't expect this load balancing from the Fortinet SD-WAN. When we are discussing load balancing in SD-WAN, so we are discussing load balancing on your uplinks. Okay. Because you have two uplinks, ISP1, ISP2, or you can have more than two uplinks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So there you can do the load balancing. So this is your SD-WAN router. It will be in HA, right? Let's take an example. You have created the HA and you're running it in active standby mode, active standby. And these are your WAN links, WAN switches, sorry, right? They are also back to back connected. And then you have this cross connectivity. This is the robust architecture. Okay. And then your lines underlays are coming from ISP1, ISP2, right? Getting terminated on MUX. And from MUX, each ISP, they have their own MUX, or sometimes customer, they provide their MUX, right? And from MUX, it is coming to your WAN switch. And then you have this connectivity. Now you have this, if this is the active appliance, active SD-WAN router, it has two options. I can build my IPsec tunnel like this by using this link, and I can also use this link to build my tunnel. And both the ISPs will run in active mode. These tunnels should be running in active. So when I say active, I'm saying tunnels, not hardware equipments. Your SD-WAN routers are in active standby. They can be also in active that we will discuss. But ideally, if you go with Fortinet SD-WAN, best practices, my recommendation, deploy them in active standby. Your tunnels will be in active. So now you can do load balancing of your traffic on both the tunnels, right? Half of the traffic you can pass through this overlay, rest of the traffic you can pass through this overlay. This you can do. So this is what load balancing is, okay, in SD-WAN. Then application aware routing. So we have already discussed when your
Can you go
application
back
is,
to the previous slide? This,
I'll take your query after the session. Okay. So if you go to this application aware routing, so we have already discussed it, right? If any application is parameter uh, oriented, latency, jitter, and this packet loss should be controlled, right? Then we can do this. Whatever underlays performing as per those defined latency, bandwidth, and parameters, accordingly, SD-WAN router will switch the traffic. Then comes your centralized management. Now, centralized management is like a single management appliance is available to do everything. Okay, you're getting visibility. You can do the configuration, right? So centralized management. So if you want to bring up your new site, you can do it very fast because already your templates are there in the management. You just need to push it. So we also call it zero trust, zero ZTP, provisioning. So it's like zero touch provisioning where, when your boxes are inside the warehouse itself in the staging stage, We just build them with the required OS. We ship it to the site. It connects with the controller, gets the policy push done. It is up. It is as fast as you can imagine. Earlier, this was not the thing, right? So earlier, if you are using the MPLS and if you want to add any new commissioning of a new site, what do you used to do, right? You used to first supply the circuits on the site, then you need to build the configurations because there at that point of time there was no uh, central controller available. You were building it from scratch. You need to run the scripts, that Notepad router config scripts, which you used to run and you used to build the devices. It was taking time, right? These days, it's like already templates are there in your cloud controller. Once your device has been shipped, right? It knows where I need to connect. It will automatically make the connection with the controller, and then controller will push the template and your devices up. That is what your zero touch provisioning is, right? Then comes your security. Now, when we talk about security, so we are using IPsec tunnels. When I said in the starting itself, SD-WAN fabric, so it's like only IPsec tunnel. It will not use GRE tunnels, first of all. Okay, because it will encrypt your traffic, and in GRE you cannot do that. Okay, so encryption is there, firewall functionalities are there, you know IPS functionalities are there, DLP functionalities are there. So you're getting the next generation firewall feature. So for a small branch, this is a good option. You need not to have a complete security stack implemented in the branch. Just pay 40 to 60,000. I mean, 40F, you just get it for 50,000 rupees, right? 80F, 60F, you get it for 80 to 90,000. Very cheap, and you can start using it. Now, coming to the SD-WAN components, right? Fortinet SD-WAN components. So, like I said, we have Forti Manager, Forti Analyzer, and FortiGate appliance. FortiGate is nothing but your firewall only. Now they have came up with the new series, which I was highlighting F, right? So 40F, 60F, 80F, 100F, 200F, 400F, and 600F. And then we have large scale data center boxes. So till these, you can smartly pitch these boxes to small and medium businesses. Okay, and then for Forti Manager, you have VM, you have dedicated appliances. It is all your choice whether you want to buy the appliance or you're good with the virtual. So physical, virtual, and these FortiGate VMs are also available, right? So if you are building your fabric with the cloud, which I will cover tomorrow, right? Cloud on ramp, and how do we extend our fabric to the cloud, right? So there, no physical will be spin, right? You will have VM. So you need to spin up the VM in the public clouds, and it will build the fabric. So here, Forti Analyzer will be used for centralized logging and reporting, and Manager will be used to do your centralized device management and policy management. Okay. So you can see policies will be pushed like that to your edge devices, and then they will start working as per the policies. Now, key goals, faster deployment with the zero touch provisioning, ZTP, right? So additional license is needed for this to work. Okay. And the cost is very low, $100. I'm not sure why they have kept $100. Fortinet knows it, but $100 you need to pay to get this. Then centralized management, analytics, and reports for SD-WAN. Okay. And this is how your architecture is going to look like. Then, if we talk about the hardware models, so we start with 40F series. Another best thing is like 40F is for very small branch where you have less than 15 users. If you are having a branch like this, there you will not have the network stack, right? Router, switches, then servers. No, Wi-Fi will be there, users will be there, right? So you need a model through which you can do security, you can build, you can use SD-WAN features, and you can provide Wi-Fi capabilities as well. I have seen such use cases, such demand coming up from my customers. So for that, 40 Wi-Fi 40F is the best choice. And then we have 60F and 80F. Wi-Fi series is also available. So it's like just send one device on the customer location and you're done. They will connect through Wi-Fi, right? And then they will start using the SD-WAN functionalities. Okay. Now, then these are for the remote and home users. I've seen people, seen enterprises sending these devices to their employees on at their home, right? Because very cheap appliance. Then small branch, so 60F. Then you have medium branch 80F. Then large branches like 100F, very large 200F, and private and public cloud. So Fortigate VM is there. It is available for AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, Oracle, IBM, VMware, Nutanix, right? So all these options are available, and they have also given you the supported users, how many users it can support. Now, when we say users, so it is like I'm assuming that you have also purchased the UTP bundle, security licenses, right? So that's the user support you get. If you are only taking plain SD-WAN, no security, then you can double this count. Then it can support more users. Okay, if you are not taking any security features. Similarly here, right? And in cloud, it will depend on your compute. Small compute, medium, large, very large. Now coming to the campus and small data center. So now this is no more 600E, it is 600F. Okay. Similarly, 1100F, right? And you can see the throughputs and all the details, maximum tunnels and how much it can support. Then 1800F, large data centers, 2600F, right? Very large data centers, 3400F, right? 3600F. And now we are also getting G series from the Fortinet and hyperscale data centers. So 4200 series, 4400 chassis. These are the chassis, right? So you get chassis options as well. So this is your hub and data center boxes. Now, if I talk about the licenses, so this is the license bundle you get for Fortinet SD-WAN, right? So you get Fortinet FortiCare default license where you will get the SD-WAN feature, normal firewall feature, and only app control you will get. If you want to get IPS and advanced malware protection, then you need to go with ATP licensing. And if you go with unified threat protection, then you get these services, URL filtering, video filtering, anti-spam. And then enterprise protect, you get all these IoT, FortiGuard, right? And then if you go with the 360, so you get all these additional features, right? This is very expensive. So mostly people go with this UTP. Okay, SD-WAN plus firewall. Secure SD-WAN, we call it secure SD-WAN. New term you will hear in the market, secure SD-WAN. Because what happened, there were few vulnerabilities, how attackers were able to exploit the SD-WAN networks. So, when you remove firewall from your branch, so I'll explain you how attackers were able to, you know, attack the SD-WAN. So let's take an example. This is your branch, right? And this is your headquarter SD-WAN router. You have the tunnel, okay? And let's take an example. You are breaking out locally to the internet unsecurely, no inspection. You were using plain license, 40K only, right? So now there are chances that this machine can download malware from the internet. If this malware will come here, then there are chances it can spread within your entire WAN network because no inspection is going on anywhere, right? Because you have replaced your firewalls with these boxes and only data center is having the firewalls. Now to secure such things, we go away and pitch secure SD-WAN, where you get firewall capabilities as well. So if you want to give local breakout, direct internet access, dia, to do it securely, enable security licenses here, right? So here as well, so many things are there: direct internet access, remote internet access, right? So we will discuss about these architectures tomorrow. And if I will show you this controller-less architecture, so here the thing is like, uh, they are trying to hit Cisco here basically. In Cisco, we have so many components. So here you just have one manager, which is also playing the role of orchestrator, right? And it is helping you to manage your FortiGates without any problem, and you have the analyzer to receive the logs, right? And so network and security operations team, NOC and SOC, they will take access of FortiAnalyzer to the, and integrate it with the SIM. So you also get Forti SIM, or you can integrate it with Splunk or whatever it is, QRadar, and you can see the analytics. Your central management and orchestration is being taken care by Forti Manager itself, right? So you get connectors, DevOps, APIs, ecosystem, right? And you can communicate with your FortiGates and you can build your fabric, right? In control and data plane, so you get all these services: SSL inspection, content filtering, IPS, anti-bot, app control, reputation check, antivirus, security processor, SPU. This SOC 4 is the dedicated FPGA you get inside the FortiGates. Then SD branch. So like I was telling you, you can also get the complete branch solution from Fortinet, where you get the 40 AP, 40 switches, right? 40 extender LTs. So this is for branch, right? And SD-WAN services which you get. So WAN path control, WAN path remediation, if any uh, link is not stable or something like that. Dynamic SaaS steering, secure VPN overlay, WAN optimization. All these features. Now it is coming. And if you want to get cloud security services just like Zscaler or from Fortinet, so you can also get that, right? So now Fortinet has also come with Forti SASE. Okay, so a complete single SASE solution. So that's it for today from my end. We will connect again tomorrow and we'll continue our discussion from here. So, like I said before, these are the free lectures. Anyone can join. But after that, paid classes will start for the subscribers. And then we will follow our routine class schedule. Okay. So, I'm stopping my screen and I'm stopping the
So,
recording as well. And then I'm open for Q&A.
sir, could you tell me one
Yeah.
thing? Which
Um,
Wi-Fi vendor